Hello everyone, this is Dante with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're gonna check all the gear sets in Raid Shadow Legends. It's 2025 and we have about a million gear sets. So we're gonna go through all of them one by one, see if it's worth having, worth keeping, upgrading, and in what champions are we going to use each and every one of them. Before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video if you enjoyed it, of course. It helps the channel very much. It's May of 2025 and we have around 60 different gear sets. Most of the gear sets, of course, are not as useful as others. First of all, we have different categories of gear sets. Some you need to have 2 pieces of them to give you just stats. Others you need 4 of them to give you stats or an effect. Damage increases as HP decreases, or Fury for example. And of course we have the variable sets, like Stoneskin for example, that give you stats and effects for each and every one piece you can have on your champion. Variable sets of course are the most powerful sets in the game. A disclaimer before we really dive into it: for newer accounts, for new players, every single piece that is actually good, you keep it. Doesn't matter what kind of set it is a part of. First of all, we have life, defense, speed, critical rate, critical damage, accuracy and resistance set. These are the basic sets, 2-piece sets. They give you a basic stat of your champion. The most important, of course, of all is speed. Speed is the most important stat in the game, so the more you have, the better it is for you. For example, the life set, it only gives you 15% HP, just that, nothing more. So on the whole of my account, I just have 3 pieces of it. Defense, again, it just gives you defense, nothing more. So I just have another 3 pieces. Speed, of course, is one of the most important sets. I have a bunch, as you can see. Critical rate, again, barely have any. It just gives you critical rate for every 2 pieces. Of course, these 2-piece sets, it stacks. So if you get 4 pieces, for example, on your champion, you get 30% HP. Critical rate and all. Critical damage, I have a few more, although to be honest, most of them are just complementary pieces for champions I don't really use, that are in the vault or for faction wars and stuff. Accuracy, again, is a very nice set in the beginning. It's very important. Accuracy is a very important stat, but there are much better gear sets right now and nowadays to have in your champions. Resistance, again, resistance meta is kind of dead right now, so even as a set it's not that important. Now we have gear sets that have more than stats, either have stats and effects or just effects. For example, lifesteal gear set. If you have 4 pieces on your champion, it heals your champion by 30% of the damage dealt. Very important set, especially in the beginning of your account, because it will help your champion to stay alive no matter what. Fury, damage increases as HP decreases. It is not that strong of a gear set right now. It used to be much better in the past, but after it changed, it is actually not that great anymore. So except you have a very good piece. This is not a good piece, of course, but it is on a champion in the vault. I could just sell it, to be honest. So if you have a nice piece, just by itself you can keep it, otherwise not that important. Day set, for 4 pieces, you have the chance, 25% chance to place a sleep debuff on the opponent. sleep debuff is not that strong of a debuff, so just having a small... Hello Luffy. We have some common here. Again, as I say, sleep debuff is not that strong of a debuff, and just wasting 4 pieces of gear on a champion to just to have a chance to put a sleep debuff is not that great. So if you have some good pieces, you can keep them, but in general it's not a good set. Gearsets is actually a pretty nice set if you get of course some nice substats, because you have a 50% chance to place a hex debuff for 2 turns. It is actually a very important and very powerful set for using Hydra, because for example I have it on my Venus. While she puts debuffs on the heads, she has a chance to put hex as well, so she increases the damage of my damage dealers quite a lot, because as you may not know, hex actually spreads your damage to the rest of the heads. For example, if you have hex on the whole team, if you just hit one head, you get another percentage of your damage spread to the rest of their heads. So in total it will actually skyrocket your damage in Hydra. Frost set, for 4 pieces you have 20% chance to place freeze debuff on the attacker. Not that great of a set. We have another similar set for 2 pieces that is actually much better. So just keep if you have a nice piece, otherwise just sell it. Frenzy, again another trash gear set in my opinion. You get a 5% turn meter for each debuff received. You actually don't want to have debuffs on yourself, so it doesn't matter if you get some turn meter. Next we have the regeneration set, a very strong set. Your champion heals by 15% every time they take a turn, so you use it on a champion that you want for sure to stay alive, and you use it on a champion that is actually fast enough to take turns, and we use it most of the time on champions that we want to solo some bosses or dungeons in general. For example, I used to use it on Godseeker Aniri when I do Sun Devil with Ninja. Now I use another team. I use it on Artak so to basically solo Ice Golem hard, the boss of course. And I have some other pieces spread around. Next we have immunity set. For 4 pieces you get 2 turn immunity on your champion. It used to be very important for arena battles, but nowadays we have much stronger gear sets like Stoneskin, Pinpoint and others that we're gonna see next. So if you have some nice pieces you can keep it, otherwise not that important. Shield set, again it used to be very good. Now we have a bolster that is actually a better version of the shield set. For 4 pieces you get a 30% HP shield for 3 turns on all your team. So it is actually very strong if you get it on a newer account that you don't have a bolster set. It helps your team stay alive for at least the 3 first rounds. Next we have a very strong set, the Relentless set. For 4 pieces you get the chance to get an extra turn. So imagine how important it is to get an extra turn for your champion, to just hit your opponent if it is a damage dealer, to revive someone if it is a support, a reviver, to heal your allies, to debuff the opponents, to do whatever you want to do. Very strong, and is actually coming back to PvP very strongly these past few months. Next we go to Savage Gear Set. For 4 pieces you ignore 25% of the enemy's defense. Ignoring your enemy's defense is the most important part and way to improve your damage when it comes to dealing damage. So the more defense you ignore, the greater damage you will do. So having some nice and strong savage gearsets is really important for your progression in the game. Next we have Destroy set. For 4 pieces you destroy enemy max HP by 40% of damage dealt. It used to be important for the Scarab King, but nowadays I think we have enough champions to solo it or destroy the boss's max HP with skills that we don't actually need the gear set. So just keep it if you actually need it in the beginning to get past Scarab King, or if you have some nice pieces that you can use as a filler. Stun set. For 4 pieces you get 18% chance to place a stun debuff. This is actually very strong for PvP and PvE. We use it on champions that have most of the time AoE on their A1 skill, so they have the best chance to stun the enemy. And nowadays in Gears City is actually very important to get past some hard stages in Soul Cross path, I think. Some nice stun gear sets are actually really important to get past them. Toxic gear set. For 4 pieces you get 75% chance to place the small version of poison debuff. Not that great of gear set. If you have some nice pieces you can keep it, especially if your account is newer, you can use it on Demon Lord to get some nice damage. Otherwise not that important. Next we have a Provoke set. For 4 pieces you get a 30% chance to place a Provoke debuff. This is very nice in PvP to provoke your enemy. Not that great, but it's actually somewhat strong sometimes to help you dismantle the enemy team. It is actually mostly used nowadays in Hydra to help you with the head that it can be provoked when you don't have actually enough champions with the provoke debuff in their skill sets. Next we have a Retaliation set. For 2 pieces you get a 15% chance to counter attack when hit. This can be used on any champion that has a nice and strong A1. Not that great of a gear set of course. Maybe if you have some nice pieces you can use it, but in general not that important, especially now with the variable sets that give you much better effects and stats. But it could be used as a complementary 2-piece gear set. Avenging set. You get a 45% chance to counterattack when receiving debuffs. Pretty much trash set nowadays. Stalwart gear. For 4 pieces you get 30% damage reduction from enemy AoE attacks. It's a nice set, not that great of course nowadays. 4 pieces is too many slots to waste on a set like this. Of course, as a beginner you can use it very effectively on Demon Lord and other bosses. But for mid-game and end-game accounts it's pretty much useless, except you have very strong pieces. Reflex gear set is actually very strong. You get a 40% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown, so you can use it pretty much on any champion you want. You prefer not a damage dealer because you don't ignore any defense, but for every other champion with active skill sets. For example, I use it on my Geomancer, so I get more chances to use more often his best skill that he puts a burn on the enemies. You can also use it on any champion you need, of course, to use their best skills more often. Next, a curing set, a 4-piece gear set. So it's a bad start to begin with. You get 20% bonus heal, and bonus heal restores destroyed max HP. So it can be helpful on some healers, but if you have of course some good pieces, but in general not too great. A cruel set you get every day from Demon Lord. It ignores 5% of the enemy defense. It is quite strong if you have nice pieces. It's a complementary 2-piece set. For example, you can get a Savage set plus a Cruel set, so you can actually ignore 30% defense from your enemy and get some extra attack on your DPS, on your damage dealer. Very strong, very nice, especially because it is a 2-piece set. Immortal set, again you get it from Demon Lord every single day. It gives you HP, so again it's better than the life set we got as our first gear set, and also heals you by 3% every time you take a turn. So it is actually a much improved life set. Very strong, very nice complementary set because it is a 2-piece set. So you can actually get a regeneration, for example, set or any other 4-piece set and complement it with your immortal pieces. Now we have the divine sets that you get from Classic Arena. They're actually pretty much useless. They just give you some stats and some self-shield. Not the whole team, just the wearer. So if you have some good pieces, you can use it, otherwise not that great. Swift Parry is a very strong set. It used to be one of the most OP gear sets in the past, especially for PvP, because it gives you 18% speed, 30% critical damage, and 50% chance of placing unkillable when hit with fatal hit. So you had a 50% chance to stay alive when the enemy tried to kill you. Very strong even now because it has actually great stats and the chance to stay alive and give you a second chance to basically turn the tables in your battle. Deflection set, again not that amazing of a set. You get some nice stats, HP and defense, and 25% chance to deflect one debuff on the attacker. If you need for some bosses like the Nether Spider on Doom Tower, you can use it, but in general not that great of a set and quite a waste for 4 slots. Next, Resilience, another quite basic set. It just gives you HP and defense. If you have some nice pieces, you can actually keep it or complement your other sets with this, but not that great as you can see. Now, Perception Gear, one of the strongest gear sets in the game, and that's because it is actually a 2-piece gear set and it gives you 2 of the most important stats in the game, accuracy and speed. So it can actually complement all the other gear sets, and if you have some nice pieces, it will make your builds much stronger. And another reason it is actually so strong, it is because you can actually forge it every single day just by doing faction wars. So it is easy to get and it is very strong when it comes to stats. Now we have some Doom Tower sets. You basically farm the Doom Tower bosses, you get material and forge these sets as you please. First of all, Affinity Breaker, 4-piece set, you get 30% critical damage and 50% chance to change a weak hit to critical hit. Not that great of a gear set, 4 pieces, it's actually not that great. Untouchable, this is an improved set, as all of them are basically improved sets from the basic sets we saw above. So for 4 pieces you get immunity for 2 turns plus 40% resistance. Again, very basic. If you have some nice pieces, keep it, otherwise sell. Fatal, you get 50% attack and 5% critical rate for 2 pieces. Could be a nice complementary set, but to be honest, Cruel set gives you ignore defense much stronger, so again not that great. Frostbite is actually quite a useful set, especially in PvP, because for 2 pieces only you get a 15% chance to block freeze debuffs and a 10% chance to place freeze debuff on the attacker. I forgot to say that all these effects don't need accuracy, like freeze, sleep, stun and poison. So for example, if you have your Duchess, because I used it on my Duchess in the past, you can have 4 piece Stoneskin or even more and 2 pieces of freeze, and as your opponent start attacking you, you don't die and have a chance to freeze them and basically gain a turn and turn the tables on them. Could be a very sneaky way to freeze your opponent. Next we have Bloodthirst, 4 pieces, an improved version of lifesteal gear. You get critical rate plus 12, plus you heal your champion by 30% of the damage dealt. Very strong, mostly for beginning, for a beginner account, not used that much in mid-game and later on. Next, the Guardian set, a 4-piece gear set. The wearer takes 10% of all the damage dealt to allied champions and also heals by 10% every turn. So you help your team stay alive by taking some of their damage, and you heal by 10% every turn, so it helps you stay alive also. It is a strong gear set for tanky champions. Fortitude, a 2-piece gear set. It just gives you resistance and defense, nothing special. Now on the lethal set, very strong, one of the most important sets in the game when it comes to dealing damage, because it is basically a savage set plus 10% critical rate. So as we said before, ignoring defense is the most important thing to have to deal extra damage, so a very strong gear set. We use it on as many damage dealers as we can. We continue with our first variable set, protection set. In general, variable sets are the ones that are from 1 to 9 because you can actually have accessories and gear. So you can actually have on your champion 9 pieces of this specific set. And they are variable because you get another stat or effect by adding every single piece. So for example, protection gives you resistance with 1, 2 pieces resistance and HP, 3 pieces plus speed, 4 pieces it gives you the first effect, 25% chance to place a protected buff, very strong. Then more speed, then more chance to place a protected buff, then resistance, then more speed, and in 9 pieces it gives you 75% chance to place a protected buff, and also allies deal 5% more damage per each buff placed by the wearer. So as you can see, the strongest part of this set is 9 pieces, so you can have a very strong, very fast champion that actually puts many buffs on your allies, so you can actually deal much more damage. An example, I use it every day on my Duchess, because Duchess puts block debuffs and increase attack and veil on our champions. So basically 3 buffs and some shield with her A1. So pretty much 15 to 20% more damage on your damage dealer. So basically, as you can see, it is very strong on PvP especially, on PvE especially, in bosses. For example, I use it in Chimera and Hydra, and my Duchess basically, above all her revive skills, protection skills, she enables 10 to 20% more damage on my damage dealer. Next, we have a Stoneskin Gearset, the most important and basically the strongest gearset nowadays in the PvP, and that because for 4 pieces and 6 pieces, it basically gives you a Stoneskin buff at the start of the round for 1 or 2 turns respectively, and a 50% chance of blocking removals or steals. So basically, when you put this gearset on your champion, you stay alive for at least 2 turns, except the enemy succeeds in removing the Stoneskin buff. Of course, in this meta, some of the most common and most important builds when it comes to Stoneskin is 4 pieces of Stoneskin for damage dealers plus lethal or savage. For example, let's see our Marius, 4 pieces of lethal, 4 pieces of Stoneskin, and another very common and very strong build, 4 pieces Relentless for your support champion, 4 pieces of Stoneskin. So Stoneskin is very strong. It gives you the opportunity to stay alive and do what you need to do with your champion next. Then we have a Killstroke Gearset. This is from the clan shop. You get critical damage and speed, not that great. If you get some good pieces, you can keep it, otherwise just sell it. Then we have a bolster set. This is from a pass. It comes around every couple of months. It is a very strong gear set, but you basically need to buy the pass to get nice pieces. Bolster set gives you a protected 30% HP shield for 3 turns on all your team, and heals the wearer by 10% every turn. Very strong for tanky champions and champions that actually have a lot of HP. For example, I use it many times on my Mountain King because he has the greatest HP pool of all the champions in the game, so he puts an amazing shield on the whole team, plus it helps you healing every single turn. But most of the time you can use it on champions like Duchess, on Ancora, on Reviver basically, and healers and tanky champions. Defiance set, again pass set, gives you defense and reduced damage from AoE attacks. It is a very nice set, complementary set, because you need only 2 pieces. Not an amazing set, but it can be useful sometimes. Now, Impulse set. This set you get from Live Arena chest. It gives you speed and 12% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown by 1 turn. This is very strong, especially because it is a 2-piece gear set. So the more arena you play, the best chances you have to actually get some nice pieces and put it on your champions. You can actually put it on any champion, whether they are support or damage dealers, because you can imagine you can put it, for example, on a reviver that has a bolster set plus impulse, or Stoneskin plus impulse, or on a damage dealer that has savage or lethal plus impulse, so you can actually do more damage and have a chance to reduce your damage dealing skill. Next we have the Zeal gear set. It is a very strong damage dealing gear set, complementary 2-piece set, gives you 20% critical damage plus 3% damage for every 25% HP this champion has. This is very strong and can complement your champion's damage, because for example you can have a lethal set, 4-piece gear set as we have said, so you ignore the damage, the defense you need. So for the next 2 slots you can put the Zeal gear set and up your damage even more. Righteous, another pass gear set. It gives you speed plus resistance. If you have some nice pieces, that's alright, if not, not that important. Next we have another variable set, a Supeersonic set, very important for champions that you need to be fast. This set gives you a lot of speed, plus as a 4-piece set, it fills the champion's turn meter by 2% per each buff on each enemy. So you put these 4 pieces on your champion, and for example the enemy Sifi or Duchess or anyone self buff, and you get more turn meter and you have the chance to cut in line and play next. So most often than not you have Armans or a Locker wearing Supeersonic. So the enemy booster goes, you cut in line and basically lock them or turn them into ship or stun them with Armans. For 6 pieces you decrease the turn meter effects placed by enemies on this champion for 30%, and for 9 pieces you increase any field turn meter effects cast by the wearer by 30%. The most important and most useful thing is the 4-piece set that you can put on your champions. And the best way I use it in my account is on my Warlord. Basically, I have him in Stoneskin and Supeersonic, so I try to cut in line and lock the enemy team. Next, we have the strongest damage dealing set in the game, especially for PvE, but can be used in many cases in PvP. Let's see what we can have. Merciless, we get basically attack, critical damage, speed, ignore defense with 6 pieces, more speed, more critical damage. And the special effects, 4 pieces, we get 30% chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown by 1 turn, 6 pieces, ignore defense, 9 pieces, 15% chance of getting an extra turn. So imagine the scenario, you have your champion with 9 pieces of Merciless gear. You basically have a lot of attack and critical damage and speed stats. You get a chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown, basically when you're dealing damage. You ignore defense, so your damage is much more improved, and you have the chance to getting an extra turn. So basically it's like having an improved Savage set, plus an Impulse set, plus a Relentless set. It's very very strong, of course it's very hard to get 9 pieces. I have a very nice piece, a 9-piece that I use in my Gearsets and on my Protoss. So basically I have a chance to get an extra turn and reduce my cooldown and do great damage with both these champions. These ones I use in PvP very effectively, and also for example for PvE I use it on my Nut in Chimera. So basically I do more damage with ignore defense, and I have a chance to take more turns and do his big steal more often. Very very important, very strong, so do your Curse City every day and try to do as much as possible. Of course, when you're starting getting some pieces, you can use it just for the stats, or for 4 pieces for the chance to decrease the random skill's cooldown. and that's the strongest part of the variable sets. You just can complement your other builds with just one piece. Next we have a Slayer set, variable set, pass, forge pass set. You need to basically buy the pass to get some nice pieces. It is a damage dealing set. You get a lot of critical rate, critical damage, speed, ignore defense, but you also get the effects. Fills this champions turn meter by 5%, the first hit on each enemy from AoE attacks. Then it ignores defense using AoE skills, and then 30% chance to deal additional AoE damage based on damage dealt by AoE skills. So as you can see, if you have a lot of AoE attacks, for example Marius has only AoE attacks with either his A1 and A2, so it is a very strong gear set for him especially. It is very strong but niche because it is only for champions that have a lot of AoE attacks. Next we have a feral set. Let's see what it gives you. Feral set you get from basically winning siege battles. This is very strong for just getting one piece and two pieces, because it gives you accuracy and speed just with two pieces, and with three pieces you get, imagine that you can get plus 80 accuracy and plus 5 speed. 4 pieces, it places block debuffs on wearer at the start of the round for 2 turns, basically an immunity set. Then you get more speed. Then for 6 pieces you get 50% chance to prevent the placement of ship debuffs by the polymorph blessing. So basically the 6 pieces are used mainly in PvP, because most of the champions have polymorph blessing. So it is a nice way, or let's say one of the ways to counter it with this gear set. But for me, to be honest, the best part is the 9 pieces. Allies deal 5% more damage per each debuff places by wearer. When you have 9 pieces on this set, you can use it in PvE, in bosses basically, on champions that have a lot of buffs, a lot of debuffs, so you can actually do much more damage on the boss. As we said before, we have the protection set that gives you more damage based on your buffs, so this is the complementary set to it that gives you more damage on debuffs placed by you on the enemy. So you can use it on champions like, for example, let's see, Feral. He places a lot of debuffs on the enemy, so it can actually give you much more damage for your damage dealer. It is very important to do high damage on Chimera especially, and Hydra. One of the best champions for this is of course, let's see, where is he? Richo's Bone Spear, because she puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buffs from her A2. Unfortunately I don't have her, but she's actually the best champion basically in Feral gear set. Then we have one of the strongest again PvP gear sets, Pinpoint. It gives you a lot of accuracy and speed, plus for 4 pieces grants the wearer 1 intercept stack at the start of the rounds. 6 pieces it gives you 2 intercept stacks, and 9 pieces grants the wearer 4 intercept stacks at the start of the round. Each intercept stack blocks a single attempt of placing a crowd control debuff. This includes of course stun, sleep, and most of all ship debuff. So it is very important in this meta. So you can use it on most champions mostly support champions in PvP, and sometimes even damage dealers, because you can actually have, for example, lethal and pinpoint, savage and pinpoint. And lastly, we have the two newest variable sets. You get from Live Arena the seasons that were just introduced. They are okay sets, not that great to be honest in my opinion. Stonecleaver, it is a damage dealing set. 4 pieces gives you 30% more damage to Stoneskin shields. 6 pieces ignores 20% of enemy defense. Remember, Merciless ignores 35%, much stronger. And 9 pieces, 70% more damage to Stoneskin shields. This set, if you put it on a very strong damage dealer, it could break much easier Stoneskin buff. But to be honest, I don't think it is that important, because it is a very hard set to get by winning many chests in Live Arena. And I wouldn't put it on my champions when compared to Merciless, for example, or even Lethal or Savage in most cases. Last gear set on our list, Rebirth. Let's see what it has. Resistance, speed, resistance, speed, resistance when it comes to stats. For 4 pieces, grants plus 10% HP and 10% turn meter to allies revived by the wearer. 6 pieces, places block damage buff on wearer for 1 turn when an ally is killed by an enemy, or cures once per round. 9 pieces, decreases the cooldown of any revived ally's heals by 1 turn. It is a very nice set when it comes to revivers, but to be honest, again, it is very hard to get good pieces for this. If enough time passes and you get good pieces, it may be strong, but nothing important at the time of this recording. So that is for today. I hope this video helped you understand and give you an idea how to use all the gear sets in Raid Shadow Legends. If you have any other questions or need help about using them or building your champions, just comment below what you need, and I will try to either reply on your comment or make a video about it. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care.